Welcome back to my channel. Hi, I'm Ada, and 2 videos ago on my channel I made this outfit inspired by the Leo zodiac sign, and this video is going to be basically about this Zara cap that I made in place of a gele. I'll be sharing the tutorial I got this pattern from and also sewing tips from me to you if you want to make this cap. Fortunately, the 2 things you need to make a Zara cap are your main fabric and the interfacing for the front part of the cap. It's very simple. I was inspired by a friend of mine who wore a Zara cap as her gele for our friend's bridal train. So since I didn't want to buy a gele, I decided to go with a Zara cap. For the structure at the base of the cap, I used a sandwich of medium-sized wadding and paper stay. The tutorial I saw online called for Marco. I don't know wetin Marco be, my brothers and sisters. I don't know wetin Marco be, and I tried asking my tailor plug, but she said she didn't know what it was either. So I opted for a collar stay or cap stay, according to what they call it. I just sandwiched it in the middle of 2 layers of wadding, and that was it. The next thing, you just need matching thread, and that's all. Now this is bonus tip for you if you found this channel, because I almost cried when this happened to me. So I just felt that once I fixed it, I'm going to share this. Now, have you ever been cutting your material and you mistakenly slashed your already cut piece, and now it's just a mess? So I was just trying to show you in the video where I mistakenly cut on this cap, and what you just do is you take paper stay or whatever interfacing you're using and just place it directly on where you slashed. I'm going to zoom in right now, and you can see that line where the scissors just made that nasty cut on my piece. So if you ever are using Ankara fabric or cotton fabric, you mistakenly cut something you're not supposed to cut, just put paper stay on it and you're good to go. For the body of the cap, I measured 6 inches of wadding width and 3 inches of cap stay inch. I fold my wadding in 2 so that I have 3 inches on each side, and sandwich the the cap stay in between the wadding fabric, that is the medium wadding interface. Then I measured also 5 inches for the fan with about 1 yard of fabric for the fan. Please note, oh god, I made this mistake and I regret. The tutorial I followed said the structure inside the cap should be 18 inches, that is my wadding should be 18 inches, while the entire length of my cap should be 23 inches. Please, if you are cutting yours, I would advise that you measure the circumference.
No matter what is going on in your life, no matter how the circumstance
circumference of your head, and add 1 inch to it to give you ½ inch allowance on both sides. I already knew that the circumference of my head was 23. I don't know why I didn't add the extra 1 inch for sewing allowance. I thought I was, doing the most. But by the time I sewed my cap, that is with ½ inch allowance, it was barely ½ inch, it was ¼ inch allowance, and it was too small. So if I will definitely make this cap again, and what I would do is to add 1 inch sewing allowance to my main fabric. 2, I will increase the length of my interfacing or the structure. The lengthwise, I'll still make it 3 inches width, but I will increase the length. Instead of 18 inches or shorter than my fabric, I will increase it to the full 23 inches so that the structure will go all round my head instead of stopping halfway at the back. The next thing I did was to fold over my fabric and then sew in my interfacing just to lock it in. Another tip I'll give is to use a zipper foot. If you're using a zipper foot, use a zipper foot, because this will just help you go as close as you can to the very edge of where the interfacing stops, so that you won't have the interfacing moving about in the enclosure. You can also use a normal sewing foot if you have, but I just find this to be best if you have a zipper foot. Now that is done, I'm going to sew close the sides and just make it like an enclosed cylinder of some sort. Now that is done, you don't want to look as if you are wearing a cone on your head, so you just take needle and thread and hand stitch just at the very corner, at where the back of your cap will be. You take a needle and thread and just tack large stitches round and pull it together to create a ruffle, and your cap is done. Now for the fan at the back of the cap, I used 1 yard of fabric lengthwise, which is about 36 inches, and the width was 5 inches. What I did, the same thing was for the interfacing, that is the collar stay. I made use of collar stay interfacing to just give the fan structure. So I sealed it in, I sewed the sides together, and I flipped it inside out and gave it another good press. Once I pressed the seams, I closed the encasing, and then I sewed right on top gold trimmings to just decorate the fan. After that was done, I hand pleat the fan of the cap to just make that ridges of a fan, and when I was done, I tied it round with a thread and I steamed the fan that I made. Now this steaming will just help the pleat stay in place, because it's not like ashoke that once you make a pleat it stands. So steaming will help it stay. Once I did that, I opened up the fan and I attached it to the back of the cap with needle and thread. And that's all about it. It's very simple. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. I also have a detailed tutorial on this top that I made, a sweetheart bustier neckline. Feel free to check it out, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever you want to do. I'll see you guys in the next one.